Hi, I'm Matt, this is my channel Sawdust Passion, and today I'm making my great guitar build-off guitar. I've never made anything like this before, but I've always wanted to give it a go, and I've watched a hell of a lot of Crimson guitar videos. As it's my first guitar, I decided I wasn't going to go for the Crimson neck, and I wasn't going to go for the active pickups that I wanted, mainly because I was worried about screwing it all up. For the design, I'm playing on the fact that I'm left-handed. I'm going to do an Explorer design, but I'm going to flip it 180 degrees so it looks like the guitar is upside down. So let's get started. I've printed off and stuck together this full-size drawing of the guitar, which I'm going to use to make my template. I'm mounting the body design on a piece of 6mm MDF and cutting it out. I've managed to rip some of the template with the jigsaw, so I'm drawing the line back in. Not the best of starts. Next I'm cutting it out with a bandsaw and refining the design with the sander. Now I've finished the template, I'll use it to cut the sapele to rough size. I'm being as frugal as possible so the shape looks pretty odd, but the template fits. Now to glue up the pieces, I'm doing my best to ensure the joints stay lined up. After the glue is set, I'm using a couple of dowels to hold the template in place to draw around it. Now it's back to the bandsaw to rough cut it out. Now I can use the router with a straight bit that has a bearing on the top to trim the guitar to find the dimensions using the template as a guide. Next I flip it over and I use another straight bit, this time with a bearing at the bottom, and using the freshly routed edge as a guide. As I plan to add a layer of maple on top, I'm cutting the control cavity all the way through the sapele. I'm drilling out the bulk and cutting the rest out and refining it on the sander. Next up, I'm using a rebate bit on the bottom of the guitar to make the lips for the cavity lid. Finally, I'm routing a channel for the pickup wires, which will be covered by the maple. Now to add the maple top. Just like the body, I'm using the template as a guide. I've covered the template in parcel tape so the glue doesn't stick to it while I glue it up. I'm using coils and clamps to keep it as straight as possible. Now to glue it onto the base. I'm hitting this thing with a billion clamps. The glue is dry now, so I'm rough cutting it out on the bandsaw, and just like before, I'm using the router to trim the top using the body as a template. Finally, I'm going to add a heavy chamfer to some of the edges. I've got the template that I printed out earlier, and I'm using a centre line to place it on the headstock. Before I cut it out, I'm going to tap the centres of the machine head ready to drill. Back to the bandsaw and the sander. I then refine the neck a little with a file and sandpaper. To drill out the holes, I've set the drill press so only the brad point goes all the way through. This means that I won't get blowout on the bottom. I can then line the drill up with the hole and drill the last bit from the other side. Next, I'm using the same process to cut out the claw for the headstock. After a little refining, I glue it on. Once dry, I can start to shape it. Now that's done, I'm going to do some pyrography and burn a dragon design onto the headstock. Now the scary bit, the routing. clamp the neck in place, and I'm using the masking tape trick to hold 2 pieces of wood with a slight taper to either side. I'm also adding a stop block to the end. Now I can use the router again to cut out the neck pocket. I've added some masking tape to the inside to make sure the fit is snug. For the pickups, I'm creating an MDF template and doing the same process. Finally, I'm drilling out the holes for the two pneumatics. Now for an assembly and finishing montage. So confession time, I haven't managed to get the wiring done. I've simply run out of time. I know, I've done a Ben. I'm absolutely thrilled with how this has turned out. I've made some mistakes along the way, I know where they are and I know what I do to change them next time. I've learnt so much and to be honest, I've really enjoyed this project all the way through. I'd like to thank Ben over at Crimson Guitars. I wouldn't have had the confidence to even have a go at this if it wasn't for his videos. If you've enjoyed the video, please take the time to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe and follow your passion.